my friends! Jacob is here again, and I am so happy that you're with me. Thank you for pressing play and for spending a little time with me here as we talk about the incoming Planet 9 system, which is incoming. Despite what people said for years, yes, Nibiru is real, and now it is linked to climate change. That's right, climate change. You say I'm crazy. Well, watch the video, because you can bring that up with all of those smart astronomers, astrophysicists, and all those big brain people that have done the math. And they have concluded that there is more to climate change than what we are being told. Not just that, some scary stuff from NASA with the asteroids and the comets. There's been a huge increase in fireballs. That's right, even this week, a couple of big ones right over there in England. If you've been skeptical over whether or not there is a Planet 9, a Nibiru, or Kerpolis, whatever you want to call it, it's coming our way. And it's not going to smash into us, despite what a lot of people are saying, but it is already creating major change. Maybe. Can't say that with 100% certainty, but people who have degrees and such are already saying it. So buckle up, people, because we're going out of this world on this one. I would like to first start by addressing the crazy asteroid panic that is going on. And there's probably some reason for it. Listen, they're spending a lot of money all around the world with asteroid redirection systems by NASA and Russia pointing their nuclear weapons towards the skies. I've done a lot of videos on this, so I don't want to go too much into that, but NASA just released a from their NEOWISE, right, the Near-Earth Objects telescope, the one that is like infrared and the one that picks up on every little thing out there in space. Well, it's really frightening, because if you take a look at what happened in, say, like 2014, when all of a sudden all of these asteroids and comets started getting a little closer to how many are like surrounding us now, it's, oh, take a look. To like slow this down because it was a lot faster when I was watching it, but I took two snapshots, one of 2014 and one of 2016. You can see the difference between how many more near-Earth asteroids, near-Earth objects, how many more comets are right next to us than were before. Not to mention meteors, fireballs. According to the American Meteorite Society, they are way up. Even NASA has showed a graph over the years. I mean, we're talking like 10 years ago, not much. Right now, the graph goes whoop, all of a sudden. So what is sending all of these things our way? Some say Planet 9. Now, what's got YouTube community panicked right now is what the Czech astronomers believe is going to happen with this Taurids. You know, the Taurid shower, which happens, I guess, every year or so around October, you know, and gives you those nice fireballs towards Halloween or so, between October and November, maybe late September, which is tying into that September 23rd, 2017 thing, because this is what's a little spooky, okay? Let me just read this to you. Every few years, the Taurid meteor shower puts a particular good show on for everyone. Scientists have discovered, though, a new branch of the Taurid meteor system that could pose a major risk to Earth. The Czech astronomers, they think that they have discovered a new threat, a potential dangerous bunch of asteroids, about 144 of them. Working with researchers from Austria and Slovakia, they looked at the meteor shower basically in 2015, which every October and November, it's been showing a lot of increased activity. They're not saying why, but we can surmise that the Planet 9 system, the Nibiru system, has been entering in, through the Oort cloud and through the Kuiper belt, and has been repulsing a lot of those space rocks that surround us our way. This startling discovery was announced in the Czech Academy of Sciences Astronomical Institute and published in the Journal of Astronomy and Astrophysics. So this is like a legit deal. And they're concerned about it because they think that we could be at risk. They think there's a big chance that something may be heading our way. A lot of little somethings. But I'm a little more positive than most. And I'm going to get to that soon. So the question is, why all of a sudden? Why all of a sudden the big risk? What's been happening? I've done videos on Nibiru before, and when I started doing videos on Planet 9, when I started doing videos on Nibiru, and I started talking about, the history of it, and I started talking about all of the, the fossil record of it, and the archaeological finds, and the Sumerian texts, and I even tapped into Sitchin's work. When I started talking about this stuff, a lot of people, that were not educated enough, well, they jumped down my throat and they said, fake news, fake news. Well, I got news for everybody. This is not a news broadcast system. This is just a channel that I like to express my views and my insights and my, whatever you want to call it, my blah-bitty blah. If it helps, that's great. But the bottom line is, it wasn't very short after that all of a sudden Planet 9 became a real possibility, and everything that I was saying in these videos and a lot of other people were saying in the videos became actual news and actual fact. And now we have many organizations working together feverishly trying to track this planet down. And they found a lot of suspects. They found a lot of new systems. Remember the system we heard about, the TRAPPIST system, a little while ago. I did a video on that. And just recently, a very huge cold dwarf star. It's about 100 light years away. Big find last week. You see, I got to tell you something. See, here's the thing, right? Every week, I spend a lot of time praying, meditating, whatever you want to call it, a lot of private time, and I do a lot of research. I mean, I spend hours upon hours just searching the internet and scouring the web for different things to talk about. And whatever I feel inspired to share, I share. And I first came across all the asteroid stuff, and I said, I don't want to use all the fear tactics. But this morning, it all tied together. I came across one article that talked about how climate change has caused the pole shift and the axis tilt and the wobble of Earth. That's right, they're blaming it on climate change. Now, why this is cool is because you may not remember this or not, but about a year ago, I did a video on how these famous astrophysicists and astronomers over there at Caltech, they published an article saying they know why everything is wobbling. They know why the sun is tilting. They know why the Earth is off its axis. And they said it's Planet 9. So before we get into all that, before we put the two together, because I think it's fascinating how you have these two different stories. Why the story? Why, so here's the deal. Imagine this, right? The Earth is huge, okay? Sun's big. Say that, it just shifts a little bit, and the sun shifts a little bit. Well, could you imagine what that would do to the planet? How it would heat things up if we were just a little teeny bitsy bit closer to that sun, and what it would do to the magnetic field, and what it would do. Maybe, perhaps, that's what's been going on, and that's why the Earth has been heating up, and now is almost 2 degrees hotter than it's ever been. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, that's a bunch of baloney. Now, listen, I'm not saying that it's all man-made. I think we need to reduce our carbon emissions. I think that we can find a cleaner source of energy, but I'm not saying that the reason all this is happening is so fast. I mean, it's like, have you noticed it's been just in like the last years where all of a sudden they're like panicking? Panicking! Right? While the news is busy talking about Trump and Comey and all of this stuff and, you know, what a train wreck everything is. Well, all this nonsense, all this Kardashian baloney, this reality TV that's now in our White House, there are real things going down and they're not being talked about. So when I found this article, when I found, you know, all of these papers saying that the wobble of the Earth is now because of climate change, man-made climate change, I said, hold on a minute, people. I did a video about this. And a lot of other people said that it was not because of man or climate change, because let's face it, right? Mars has been going under climate change as well. Used to be really cold, but now it's like melting. That's right. Last year, they came out and they said a lot of stuff about Mars. They said that Mars, climate change, not man-made. That was one of the titles. So you see other planets heating up too. You see other changes in the climate of other planets not linked to us. So are we going to blame man? Are we going to blame my car and my hairspray? Are we going to blame that? Or are we going to say that maybe there's something else? Maybe there's something else they're not telling us about. I mean, look, a lot of money is being spent, you know, trying to figure out ways to redirect asteroids and try to knock them off course. I mean, why do you think that is? Well, let me tell you why. Because if little old me and little old you can be hip to what's going on out there in the solar system with Nibiru, Planet 9, whatever you want to call it, well, then guess what? They've known about it for a long time. Please watch earlier videos on this. I don't want to have to go through and show you all the stuff that proves this. But the bottom line is the climate has been changing. And I said this last year. I said, perhaps this is the reason. I'm not the only one that questions the news about climate change. There are a lot of people. One of them is very vocal about it. He actually started the Weather Channel. He's the founder of the Weather Channel. He was actually a weatherman, a real scientist, who basically came out and said flat out, it's all fake news and it's not man-made.
I'm a skeptic about climate change, and I want to make it darn clear, Mr. Kenny's not a scientist. I am. He's the CEO of the Weather Channel now. I was the founder of the Weather Channel. There is no significant man-made global warming now. There hasn't been any in the past, and there's no reason to expect any in the future. There's a whole lot of baloney, and yes, it has become a big political point of the Democratic Party and part of their platform, and I regret it's become political instead of scientific, but the science is on my side. The government puts out about $2.5 billion directly for climate research every year. It only gives that money to scientists who will produce scientific results that support the global warming hypothesis of the Democrat Party position. So they don't have any choice. If you're going to get the money, you got to support their position.
So while you have a lot of scientists basically saying that because, you know, the ice is melting and blah, 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 and that's basically everything wobble and taking everything off of its axis and shifting the planet, which is, that's their excuse. You have other people saying, no, 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 about a year earlier. Let me read this to you, okay? Because this came from our boys, the Planet 9 guys. Brown and Backin, our guys, our Planet 9 guys, are one of my favorites because they say it's out there and they were like the lead guys on this and they still talk about it on a regular basis. You should look them up on Twitter. Okay, so anyway, this was the article that I talked about a year ago. The Curious Tilt traced to an undiscovered planet. Planet 9, the undiscovered planet at the edge of our solar system, was predicted by the work of Caltech's Konstantin Batkin and Mike Brown in January of 2016, appears to be responsible for the unusual tilt of the solar system, including the sun, according to a new study. It's interesting, right? So here you have people saying that it's Planet 9, and here we see a total increase of asteroids and meteorites and fireballs and comets. And here we see everything changing in other planets, but people are saying it's man-made. Why? Because maybe they're lying. Maybe they're trying not to get everybody to panic, which I don't think anybody should panic, because I think good things are coming to change. Change is not always a horrible thing, people. And we're not just here for a moment or so. Regardless of what you believe, nothing comes from nothing. We all came from something, and we're not going to nothing. We're going to something, because energy continues on. That's right. So don't be scared of what is to come. Instead, be excited, because change is a good thing. When things get shaken up, better things come out of it. Maybe that's what this world needs. The article goes on to say the large and distant planet may be adding to the wobble of our solar system, giving the appearance that the sun is now tilted slightly towards us. Because Planet 9 is so massive and has an orbit tilted compared to the other planets. Remember that huge elliptical orbit Nibiru has that people said, no, it doesn't exist? Well, they're saying it does. The solar system has no choice but to slowly twist with it. That's right, says Elizabeth Bailey, a graduate student at Caltech and the lead author of the study announcing this discovery. All of the other planets are supposed to be on this flat plane, but then you have Planet 9 coming in there and jacking everything up and making everything a little bit different.
But the most distant objects all swing out in one direction in a very strange way that shouldn't happen. And we realized that the only way we could get them to all swing in one direction is if there is a massive planet, also very distant in the solar system, keeping them in place while they all go around the sun. And we started looking at this and thinking, this must be either a coincidence or it's caused by something else. It can't be caused by a planet, because that's crazy. There are no planets out there. I went from trying very hard to be skeptical that what we were talking about was true to suddenly thinking, oh, this actually might even be true.
So the object itself likely is more massive than the Earth, probably a little bit less massive than Neptune. It sits right in between that terrestrial to giant icy planet range. Its orbit, unlike the orbits of the known planets, is not nearly circular and planar. Instead, it is exceptionally wide, 20 times bigger than the orbit of Neptune. The orbital period of this putative ninth planet is 20,000 years.
I want to just express something to you, okay? The way that our solar system is laid out, you have this thing called the Kuiper Belt, okay? Lots of space rocks just kind of going around us and not really bothering us too much. And then you have this thing called the Oort cloud, even further out. Lots more of those rocks and everything else. They said that all of that was formed when, everything kind of took its shape. Maybe things smashed into each other. The story of, Nibiru, how it became part of our story, that kind of explains it as well, how it crashed into things and how this system crashed into this system and created our Earth and created our moons and created a lot of other things that are in our solar system today. So this Planet 9, right? It's coming our way. And it doesn't have to crash into us to basically change things. All it has to do is enter in. That mass of that planet is going to mess everything up. And when it comes through the Oort cloud and it comes through the Kuiper Belt, it is going to repulse everything different ways. Take a look at this animation. Put two and two together, and you have the reason for the planet heating up. It's not just all of us. Now, I'm not saying that we don't play a role, because we do. We, of course, play a role. But there is more to the story than is being told. And that's why I came to you today. And that's why I think each and every one of you needs to do some digging. Don't just accept things that people tell you as gospel. Do a little research yourself. And don't let this news freak you out and scare you. I know a lot of people are coming on there going, NASA just released this footage and it is so very scary and the asteroids are going to blow us up. Man can't live in fear. Fear isn't real. That's what this system wants, this world system. They want to keep us all in panic. Because when you're panicking and when you're stressing out, you can't enjoy your life. You can't be a creator in this world. And you can't live to your potential. And it's easier for you to be enslaved. This is a good thing, people. The change that is coming is a good thing. I know that in the grand scheme of things, it may seem spooky. And I know that when life is lost, it may seem terrible. Look, the bottom line is there's been devastating climate and weather all over the world, and Nibiru may be to blame. A lot of people have said that that's one of the reasons for the Great Flood, the last time that this system came around. I'm not going to be jumping on the I'm so scared bandwagon. I'm going to be jumping on the train that leads to a brighter day, because I believe there is a reason for all of this, and how exciting it is that each and every one of us are here for that ride. Now listen, people, I want you all to have the best day ever. I will see you again next week, every Tuesday. Don't forget we have a new show. Please do share this around, because people need to know about stuff like this. Don't forget to subscribe, check the bell. Thank you for helping me to reach more people, and thank you for being my friends. Thank you for each and every one of your comments. I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for it, and I love each and every one of you. It was my birthday on Sunday. I turned 46 years old. I'm excited to go on to 50, and I'm excited that you're going to be there with me, because can you imagine what is going to happen in the next 4 years? I love you all. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.